Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 28th talk in our NOAA Environmental Leadership Seminar Series. The goal of these NOAA-wide seminars is to showcase examples of NOAA's leadership and impact in environmental science by those who lead it and make it happen. My name is Sandra Klar, and I am with the NOAA NESDIS CFO CAO office. I am your host for today's seminar. To start, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the people who support, plan, and organize these seminars, and without whom none of these talks would happen. First, many thanks to the NOAA Science Council who sponsors this webinar series and the NOAA Science Seminar Series. And secondly, to the NELS team I work with in producing these talks. Hernan Garcia, Oceanographer with NOAA, NESDIS, and CEI. Katie Raleigh, Outreach Librarian at the NOAA Central Library with NOAA's OAR. Robert Levy, NOAA Studio Production Manager. And Tracy Gill, retired team member emeritus. Here are a few seminar logistics. This seminar has been pre-recorded and released at a later time. After this introduction, Dr. Letice Lafair will take over and moderate our esteemed panel of 9 members. Each panel member will have an opportunity to introduce themselves before the panel discussion begins. There is no Q&A with this talk. Today's NOAA Environmental Leadership Series seminar is entitled Professional Excellence at NOAA, A Diversity of Perspectives, moderated by Dr. Letice Lafair. Dr. Lafair is a senior advisor at NOAA. Prior to this role, Dr. Lafair served in both government and nonprofit sectors to advance goals aligned with NOAA's mission. She was the Director of Federal Policy at the Resources Legacy Fund, California Ocean Policy Manager at Monterey Bay Aquarium, Policy Analyst, and later National Outreach Coordinator for NOAA's Office of National Marine Sanctuaries, and Director of Government Relations and Education Program Coordinator at the National Marine Sanctuary Foundation. Dr. Lafair also spent 1 year as a Sea Grant Naus Marine Policy Fellow for now retired Congressman Sam Farr of California. Dr. Lafair is a graduate of Brown University with a BS in Aquatic Biology and a BA in English with honors in creative writing. She received a PhD in marine biology from the University of Delaware College of Marine Studies. Welcome, Dr. Lafair. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Sandra, for the introduction and for this opportunity. NOAA's mission is complex and hinges on having in its workforce the most capable individuals from across our diverse American society. This requires making increased investments in professional excellence by evolving the skill, diversity, equity, and inclusion of our workforce. NOAA's Office of Inclusion and Civil Rights collects demographic data metrics which indicate that much more demonstrable effort needs to be done in order to improve NOAA's recruitment, retention, and advancement practices. This panel discussion today with a few of NOAA's diverse professional employees provides an opportunity to hear examples of how a diverse, inclusive, and skillful workforce contributes to the agency's mission of science, service, and stewardship. So first, briefly tell us about yourself, when and why you joined NOAA, and your role in support of NOAA's mission.
Thanks for that question. Many years ago, when I was in elementary school, my family moved to Miami, Florida, and our next door neighbors were science teachers, and they got me interested in the weather and in hurricanes in particular. And I continued to be interested in hurricanes throughout that whole period. And through the Dade County Public Schools, I got an internship in my senior year to work at what is now the Hurricane Research Division in the Atlantic Oceanographic and Meteorological Laboratory, where I still work. So I started in high school, and they worked with me through my college years and through my PhD, and now 41 years later, I'm still working as a hurricane researcher in NOAA.
Hafa everyone. My name is JoAnn Becker. I am a meteorologist, a senior aviation meteorologist with NOAA's National Weather Service, National Centers for Environmental Prediction, Aviation Weather Center in Kansas City, Missouri. I have been with NOAA since 1995. And I came to NOAA as an entry-level meteorologist because of the forward-leaning opportunities of a leader, Ed Young, a leader in the Pacific region at the time, who was really trying to improve diversity within the Pacific region. And he was visionary. He wanted to see more indigenous people come to NOAA and stay in NOAA. And it was very difficult at the time to find a job with the National Weather Service. So I was very honored and humbled by Ed Young recruiting me as an employee for the National Weather Service. And I've been with the National Weather Service for over 25 years. It is my dream job, and there is no other place I'd love to work. It is exactly public service, and our mission to protect life and property and promote commerce is exactly where I want it to be.
In 1998, I came to the United States. I studied at the University of Maryland. In 2000, I worked at NASA. In 2004, I joined NOAA. I worked at NCEP. In 2009, I came to NOAAs COOPS. Right now, I'm the oceanographer. I focus on the coastal forecasting and observation. We provide the water level monitoring around the U.S. coastal areas to our customers.
I'm Lieutenant Erick Estela. I'm the NOAA fleet small boat engineer for the Office of Marine and Aviation Operation. And I joined NOAA in 2013. I'm just looking to combine my passion for science with the outdoors and the ocean. So what better than driving ship for NOAA? So I started being an officer on the Henry Bigelow, Bell Chimada. I was OIC on the Victor Lusanov. So I've been very happy doing these 9 years just in the operational side of it. Actually now just doing a lot of the acquisition. Management and maintenance for the small boat. We have about 60 small boat on OMAO.
Hi, I'm Hernan Garcia. I am an oceanographer with NOAA NEST's National Centers for Environmental Information. And since day one, I've been passionate about contributing to NOAA's science-based mission to serve our society. In close collaboration with my Ocean Climate Laboratory team colleagues, I contribute to sustaining the world's most comprehensive global ocean database of chemical and physical ocean variables. We use this database to create research quality subseasonal to decadal scale global climate resolving fields to help us document ocean variability and its impact to society.
I am Dr. Tom Jamir, Senior Advisor for Organizational Excellence, DEIA, and Learning at the NOAA Greater Atlantic Regional Fisheries Office. Originally, I came from the Philippines a long time ago. I joined NOAA in 2006 because I believe the agency provides the best opportunity for a fishery scientist and oceanographer like me to grow professionally and contribute to a noble cause and make a difference to others and our environment. My current role is to help NOAA to be a great place to work for everyone. This involves providing advice on how to improve diversity. I also partner with other organizations to promote equity, especially among underrepresented minorities, by providing them with the means and access to learning and professional development opportunities.
Hello, I am Artara Johnson, a lead physical scientist at NOAA's National Ocean Service Center for Operational Oceanographic Products and Services, responsible for legally documenting federal and non-federal partnerships for the collection of oceanographic and meteorological and ocean current data. I started at NOAA while I was a student at Prince George's Community College as a part of NOAA's Student Temporary Employment Program. While working through this program, I worked with Co-op's Engineering Division. For several years, I had the opportunity to lead a group of physical scientists in the responsibility for ensuring oceanographic, meteorological, and ocean current data were collected to NOAA's national standard. This supports NOAA's mission for safe navigation, coastal resilience, and coastal hazard mitigation.
I'm John Moore III. I am a meteorologist with the National Weather Service, and I've been a meteorologist for the National Weather Service since I graduated college in 2012. I joined the agency as a student intern or pathways intern at the National Weather Service office in Memphis, Tennessee, before transitioning to become a meteorologist at the National Weather Service office in Jackson, Mississippi. And currently I work at National Weather Service headquarters at NOAA headquarters in Silver Spring, Maryland. At National Weather Service headquarters, I serve as a emergency response meteorologist, where I help set agency posture. I brief National Weather Service and NOAA leadership on the ongoing weather situations across the country. And I also help serve National Weather Service partners by keeping them abreast of all of the ongoing and current hazardous weather situations across the country. And I joined NOAA because I wanted to serve. I wanted to use my love of science and forecasting the weather to help serve the people of our great country.
My name is Natalie Tarry. I'm originally from Norfolk, Virginia, and I am the CAC and Program Manager for all of NOAA. I have been with NOAA for 28 years, and I've been in support of the mission of making sure that everyone gets a CAC card that qualifies for it.
What a broad set of responses and backgrounds. So now that we know a bit more about each of the panelists, I want to hear from some of you about your perspectives on why NOAA's hiring officials and managers should care about drawing from across the diverse American society to recruit and attract the most talented and best qualified individuals.
Well, NOAA's purpose is to understand and predict changes to climate and weather and oceans and coasts, and work on preserving coastal and marine ecosystems, and to give that knowledge to the American public to keep them safe and healthy in their homes and communities. So in order to do this, we have to have a diverse workforce, not only to come up with diverse ideas on how to understand and predict the oceans and atmosphere, but we also need a diverse workforce to help us reach different communities within the American public and keep them safe from climate, weather, and ecosystem problems that may impact them in the future.
NOAA's hiring officials and managers should care about drawing across the diverse American society because, first of all, there's an executive order issued by our president, and he issued that in June 2021. It's the executive order on diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility in the federal workforce. And this order, it says that diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility are priorities for his administration, and they benefit the entire federal government as well as the nation. This is important. This is an important transformation as the culture of our nations continues to evolve. Next, hiring officials and managers have a key role in the organization, in our organization, NOAA, in implementing this executive order through their hiring decisions and their practices. The success of an organization is dependent upon having a workforce with diversity in cultures, nationalities, backgrounds, thinking, and more, to be able to increase our competitive edge in science and enhance the service we provide to the nation that we support. Drawing from employees from different backgrounds may challenge our ideas as our institutional ideas, but can also really benefit our organizational outcomes and goals and create a much more resilient and competitive NOAA.
NOAA is a great agency, providing weather forecasting, monitoring ocean and atmosphere, exploring seas, and protecting marine ecosystems. NOAA plays a huge role in global and national science and service. NOAA has one of the most diverse and impactful missions across the federal government. To complete these challenging tasks, strong technical and management teams are needed, and its workforce must reflect the people and the communities that we support and serve. This requires sustained performance-based investment in recruiting and keeping the best qualified individuals from across our diverse societies. A diverse workplace is an important asset. It acknowledges the individual strengths of each employee and the potential they bring. Value the differences of others is what finally brings us all together and can be the secret of successful workplace and a fair work culture. Additionally, bring diversity within NOAA. We will have some benefits such as improved creativity, increased productivity, reduce employee turnover, connect wide ranges of users. NOAA's senior leadership is responsible for ensuring the agency grows. The management team should be as diverse and inclusive as the workforce they lead. A homogeneous management team cannot reflect the diverse workforce and can have a negative and destructive impact on NOAA's future. A homogeneous leadership leading a diverse workforce creates a clan culture. A clan culture taken to an extreme can be insular, exclusionary, and even hostile to outsiders seeking to join. A clan culture fosters an environment where employees become hesitant to voice different opinions or to fight for an unpopular idea, even if they believe it is the best plan. If the whole team has a blind spot, such as a prejudice, a microaggression, or a shared wrong assumption, a plan may also be implemented with unhappy results because no one wants to challenge the management culture. The foundation of NOAA's long-standing excellence is its people. NOAA's diverse functions are essential and critical to help NOAA achieve its long-term missions.
In the last 10 years at NOAA, the diversity of workforce and the representation of many individuals have decreased, especially on leadership executive position, while in the country, the workforce have been grown more diverse. The U.S. Census estimates that by 2043, there will be no racial majority in the country more, and already in high school, it's no racial majority. So this gap is a huge benefit that we can tap to it. And we talk about, all previous panelists, about the benefit of efficiency and productivity, and love of creativity and innovation. And these are really important for us, especially being science and innovation science agency. This is not just about remaining competitive, but it's about remaining in place and being pretty much survival for the activity and innovation that we need in NOAA. But recruiting and hiring diverse employees won't automatically bring all these benefits that we have been talking about. But also we need to create a culture of belonging where everybody feel that they are included, that they feel supported, and they feel safe. And they will not only bring those benefits that we are talking, but also just keep them to stay here with us.
A good way to answer that question is to imagine the US labor pool as a pot of soup. If you want to get the best tasting, most nutritious and filling bowl of soup, you really need to stir the pot and dip the ladle all the way to the bottom. Then scoop out the mixed vegetables and chunky beef and the best tasting ingredients of the soup into your bowl. If you only skim the surface, well, all you'll get is a thin gruel, and that is not good enough. The same is true with respect to the highly competitive US labor market. If our hiring officials and managers really want to get the best of the best, they need to make extra effort to cut across the diverse American society in order to find and recruit the best scientists, technologists, managers, and leaders who could take NOAA to the next level. Anything less is unacceptable.
So it sounds like we all agree that it's important to consider diversity as a benefit to NOAA and its workforce. Now to the next question. What could NOAA do differently to increase the number of more qualified, underrepresented individuals in our workforce and in our senior leadership?
When it comes to attracting a more diverse workforce, NOAA must do a better job at helping to build the bridges that they want people to cross. NOAA must support the establishment of recruitment pipelines instead of just identifying already existing STEM pipelines and trying to recruit for them. For example, NOAA played an instrumental role in developing the Meteorology degree program at Jackson State University, an HBCU in an underserved area in Jackson, Mississippi, which I happen to be a graduate of. Today, over 45 years after NOAA helped establish this program, 1/3 of all African-American meteorologists employed by the National Weather Service and NOAA, and nearly half of all African-Americans with PhDs in atmospheric sciences have graduated from Jackson State University. Also, an overwhelming majority of the minuscule number of GS-13 through GS-15 African-Americans employed by the National Weather Service are graduates of this program. So that's one thing that NOAA has done to help progress, especially African-American employees of the National Weather Service, and create more opportunities for them. But bridges should also be built at the primary and intermediate school levels in minority communities. Research shows that most students decide on careers before the age of 16. By this time, most underserved students are still unaware of NOAA's mission and STEM job prospects within NOAA. NOAA should promote STEM careers in these communities by establishing a network of STEM camps and utilizing the tools and resources of nearby NOAA centers in conjunction with coordinated efforts from us here at headquarters.
Ask yourself, how do you reach underrepresented individuals? So within NOAA, I started out in a training program. It was called the Upward Mobility Program. And that program prepared me to be the program and management analyst that I am today. And this is a good way to take existing employees and give them a way forward so that they do qualify for higher positions within NOAA. A training program will have them shadow senior leadership. They can get a good feel for how the work is done within NOAA, and it's a learning process. They would have training, and this is a better way to take your existing employees and utilize them for the higher level positions. Also, one of my pet peeves is to reach the middle school, high school, and college students. These students are our future, and we need to be reaching them at an early age. Find out who's interested in science by going to the counselors. These counselors know their students, and they can definitely give us students that we could help along the way. And when I say help along the way, we set up mentoring programs, stay in school programs for them, and get them interested in the sciences within NOAA. This will prepare them so that when they go to college, they will already know that they would love a field in NOAA. And then they have our other programs within our Office of Education that will continue to help them through the career. And when they get out of school, they will want to stay with NOAA. And then our opportunities. It is a lot of opportunities out here in media. NOAA utilize social media. All of these young kids are on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, doing reels. NOAA can do the same things, and have commercials and have different segments about what it is that NOAA does so that these students will be interested. If we do not reach our young, we will not be able to develop and have good leadership within NOAA in the future.
To increase the number of qualified, underrepresented individuals in NOAA's workforce and senior leadership series, I would recommend NOAA invest in 1, building trusted relationships, 2, diverse marketing, and 3, focused outreach. Historically, underrepresented communities have had negative experiences with federal and local government officials, policies, and regulations. It would be in NOAA's interest to build trusted relationships with these communities. One approach is to inspire NOAA employees to meet with community leaders and influencers to share and speak about NOAA's mission and objectives, including information about NOAA's STEM education resources, internships, and open career opportunities. NOAA employees should be encouraged to meet with communities they feel they have a personal, professional, and/or academic connection, and share NOAA's science and programs and their stories and experiences as an employee. The catch here is to ensure the current workforce is having a positive NOAA career experience that they would like to share with persons in the community. NOAA should continue to look for new ways to diversify its marketing strategies for recruitment and announcement of professional development opportunities, being creative by finding social media influencers, celebrities, or other popular figures to discuss NOAA's mission areas, science, and products. In recent history, we have seen the traction a tweet or social media post gets when a celebrity or influencer is behind the post. So connecting with influencers who have climate interest and working with them to post climate-related topics on their platforms in an interesting and engaging method is a good path forward. This logic works well when NOAA is advertising professional development opportunities. By networking with NOAA's informal leaders to promote and post testimony of their experiences with NOAA professional development programs, and to discuss what career achievements have been made due to the successful completion of a NOAA development program. My third recommendation is focused on outreach. This begins with building sustainable relationships by proactively engaging students and teachers of K-12 students using the resources available through NOAA's Office of Education and the NOAA Ambassador Program. Could we think about NOAA expanding partnerships with classrooms, schools, STEM teachers, and organizations? These partnerships would allow NOAA professionals to help academia generate interest in NOAA STEM fields and science early in a student's education. This partnership could contain a method to track student engagement throughout their education with the intention of encouraging students in these programs to participate in NOAA's undergraduate, graduate, and postgraduate programs with the intent of hiring these students on as NOAA employees in the future.
NOAA environmental mission is very complex, and it hinges on its senior leadership ensuring a highly capable and diverse workforce, which is recruited with equity from across our diverse American society. Yet NOAA's federal workforce demographics data for the past 10 years show consistently low numbers of skillful underrepresented individuals. Two brief examples illustrate this disparity. The total number of all underrepresented individuals in NOAA's senior leadership is only 9%, and in NOAA's STEM fields is only 14%. The data suggests that these low numbers are not likely to change much if NOAA continue its business as usual workforce practices for recruiting, retaining, training, and advancement. To my mind, NOAA's greatest return on investment to our country is realized when its leadership demonstratively invests in involving its diverse workforce with equity and inclusion. One way to effect positive change is by implementing agency-wide data-informed workforce strategies, along with annual performance metrics and accountability measures. 3 short-term practical steps that NOAA could do right now. First, NOAA can learn from what has worked in other federal agencies such as NASA, which, by the way, sits as the best federal agency to work in. I see no reason why NOAA could not realize being the best. NOAA can also minimize biases and standardize their recruitment practices, institute truly diverse interview panels, require unconscious bias training, and request quantifiable reports from these panels to assess performance. And last but not least, NOAA's SES performance levels, its leadership, could include quantifiable metrics and accountability measures on advancing a skillful and diverse NOAA workforce at all levels.
Thanks again, panelists, for joining us today and for having such a fruitful discussion. And I appreciate all of you who are listening to this session. What we recognize is that it's important for NOAA to have a diverse and an inclusive workforce in order for us to better serve America, but also for us to fully meet our mission of science, service, and stewardship. There are many challenges that we're facing, from climate change to inequitable access to the outdoors. And NOAA is stepping up to help the nation meet that mission. But it is important to ensure that equity is central to every facet of our work to fulfill that mission of science, service, and stewardship. And without sacrificing the quality of our research, making sure we provide equitable services to all communities from coast to coast, and to ensure that we're providing life-saving information and tools. So again, appreciate the perspectives today from the panelists, and I'll turn it back to Sandra. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. LaFair, and thank you, panelists, for speaking with us today. Very informative talk. And again, thank you to all who make these NELS seminars possible. Our next NELS seminar will be May 10th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, featuring Dr. Stephen Thur, the Director of the National Centers for Coastal Ocean Science. This seminar will be live. Thank you again for joining us. Goodbye.